Welcome to a familiar walk with my grandparents, Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Alfreda Deal. Join us as we take a familiar walk with my grandparents, celebrating 50 years of marriage.
I am truly honored. This is a privilege of mine, a very, very important milestone to our family and to our program, A Familiar Walk. Delighted to be in beautiful Palmetto Point, Eleuthera, where I call home. And I call Palmetto Point home for many reasons, but particularly for both Ma and Pa. And as we celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary, I am just thrilled that God allowed me to be a part of this wonderful family, the Deal family, as we come together in love as we always do. And I take this wonderful opportunity to welcome both of you to the program today.
Thank you.
Many persons would remember and recall when I would send shout-outs on Radio Bahamas years ago, and I would always talk about Aunt Freda and Uncle Joe Deal, and everybody would say, "Boy, you love them so much." And I'm like, yes. And it's a deep, deep love. I remember from a little boy coming here to Palmetto Point, Eleuthera, and being with my brothers and never wanting to leave to go back to Nassau. And I guess now it hasn't changed, because when you look around what's going on in Nassau, you'd want to be back in Point again. However, we are here for a special, special reason as we celebrate the 50th wedding anniversary. And I could only imagine looking back over the years and focusing on what God has done for us as a family. We have no other thought than to say thanks. Thanks to God for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Do you agree with me, sir?
By all means, we definitely have to give God thanks. For one, for 50 years, we don't see that too often today. And, just to see 50 years as husband and wife still together, the marriages don't quite last that long today. But we just thank God that we had the understanding that we needed. But first of all, we always put God first. If we put God first in all things, we can never go wrong.
How true. I can recall days on the base. Many persons watching the program may not be familiar with the base, but it started, I think, even before then. But for some reason, the base just keeps coming back to me. I think it must have been the serenity and the ability not only to come together as a family, but we had so many barbecues, and it was just a fellowship time with my brothers, and it was so peaceful. And to be honest, I feel as though that really made us who we are today, respectable young men in society trying to do what we can. My question to you, Pa, when you reflect on the 50th wedding anniversary of you and Aunt Freda, what first come to your mind, especially when you reflect on those first years?
Well, when I reflect on those first years, I always wondered whether or not she was the wife that I was expecting, because there are times when we have our hopes smashed. But as the years went on, she became more and more what I was expecting, and I'm sure that God didn't make no mistake when He brought both of us together. And I believe God had her specially for me. I'm not bragging or anything like that, but then, sometime when you have an opportunity to sound your horn, let me just sound it today. I believe I picked the best woman that I could have ever picked as a wife. And I think these 50 years proves it.
How true, how true. And I know you celebrating in your own way. My mind go on sitting on Mother Medora's porch. I guess those were the early years for me. I'm a little lad. I told my brother Keith earlier, we're the youngest of the bunch. But still, I can remember Mother Medora sitting on the porch and just smiling at us, and we were talking about the sweet days. Those were the early days that I can recall. But I'm quite certain when we reflect on her and your wonderful relationship with Aunt Mavis and all of the family members, we also reflect on how good they were able to bring their love to this wonderful union as well. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir, very much.
And for another point, when we'd sit up through the nights, and I don't want to go to sleep because I want to chat with you some more, and we'd have our little tea and our little cookies with cheese. Those are special moments. I look at them now and I see that simple moments in life can be so meaningful. And I believe, coming to Point, I also realize that those meaningful times also make your character. And as I sit with my brothers on this wonderful program, I must say thank you to both of you for taking me in as a young boy to be a part of this wonderful family. So I thank both of you on that note, as well as the 50th wedding anniversary.
Experience the perfect out island getaway. Villa Alamanda features modern island-style decor with hilltop breathtaking panoramic views. Located on the island of Eleuthera, just 8 minutes south of Governor's Harbor Airport. We're very proud of our reviews on TripAdvisor. Villa Alamanda, the true Bahama Island getaway. Visit us at villaalamanda.com or call us at 242-332-3934. Call and ask about our special rates.
Grandmas and grandpas are everything nice, like presents and candy and raspberry ice, and chocolate fudge sundaes with cherries on top, and popcorn and peanuts and grape soda pop, in winter or summer, in rain or in sun. Grandmas and grandpas are wonderful fun. Happy 50th anniversary, Ma and Pa.
Another point that came to my mind is the Salvation Army. Very, very important to the Deal family. I would remember early in the morning, Sunday mornings, I would always, even if I have a broadcast, I would get up very bright and early so that I can go with you to the Salvation Army. And as an adult now, Sarah Ferguson at the Salvation Army in Nassau got me to be even closer there as I contribute and give back. Because I believe you should do that, especially if you have a little extra to those in need. How important is the Salvation Army to this wonderful, blessed union?
Well, the Salvation Army, as it is known to some people, is just a charitable organization, but it's much more than that. It's also a church. We do what it is expected of us. We preach to the sinners. We try and convince them there is a better life for them. God loves them no matter what they are, or who they are, or what things they get into. But then also we look at the less fortunate. We try and go all out to help the less fortunate. And that means so much to all of us, because we learned that at an early age. At least I learned that at a very early age from my mom. She didn't have much. She didn't have, I would say, anything to give. But one thing that she did have that was so precious, she had love. And she taught us how to love. And I think that is where it all began. And with the Salvation Army, it's all about love, because when Jesus said, even as you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me, so it goes deep. And right now we are in the process of building a place in the back of the church to reach out more to those that are in need, to the less fortunate. And this is what we love doing, because we feel as though this is God's mission for us.
How true. You're watching A Familiar Walk on this special segment, our Bahamian Hero segment, and I'm truly honored to have Ma and Pa with us today as we celebrate with them their 50th wedding anniversary. Earlier I had the opportunity to speak with my brothers, those who are married, and we take this opportunity to think about the young couples who are watching our programs today and who may just be contemplating marriage. In particular, I think of the oldest grandson of the Deal clan, who is preparing to be married the end of the year. What message should we echo to those young persons just starting their journey, a journey that you started more than 50 years ago?
Well, for one, do not mistake desire for love. Make sure that it is love and not desire. If we confuse the two, we can go wrong so quick, we can get sidetracked so quick. But first of all, just like our Lord Jesus Christ said, seek me first and my righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. We have to put him first in all things. We have to get his blessing first. Most time we find that many people, and this is where they go wrong, they prepare their own agenda and then they ask God to sanction it. But you can't be doing it that way. You have to first find out what God have in his plan for you, and you have to align your will with his, not his will with yours, because you know God controls everything and he is the one that we put our trust in.
Experience the perfect out-island getaway. Villa Alamanda features modern, island-style decor with hilltop, breathtaking panoramic views. Located on the island of Eleuthera, just 8 minutes south of Governor's Harbor Airport. We're very proud of our reviews on TripAdvisor. Villa Alamanda, the true Bahama Island getaway. Visit us at villaalamanda.com or call us at 242-332-3934. Call and ask about our special rates.
We're delighted to have my brother Vincent Burns Deal on our program, A Familiar Walk, as we take a wonderful moment in time and give honor and congratulate our mom and dad on their 50th wedding anniversary. Vincent Burns Deal, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Mario.
I do remember when we were talking about this wonderful milestone that was coming our way a few years ago. I remember you saying 50 years. Bro, that's a long time. However, we pause to allow you to say congratulations to them in your special way.
I'd just like to say, Mom, Dad, congratulations. 50 years is a very long time together. And coming from myself, my wife, and the kids, congratulations on your 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Burns. And before I let you go, your beautiful daughter, Nikita, she's such a gem in the family. Your wonderful wife, Dee. We were not able to have this program as successful as it is without their help. Nikita with the poem and our welcome, and your beautiful wife who spoke with me on several occasions leading up to this grand event, assisting us, who was more than a producer of the show. When it comes to family, that's what we were echoing through the whole entire program. Our family is based on love, and how important is that as you head to 50 years?
Very important. You know, Mario, you got to be patient and understanding. And I think, that's the key to making it to 50 years. And I know my dad was very patient, very understanding. And hopefully, I hope to make it to 50. Don't know if I'm gonna, but, hoping I do.
Well, I'm quite certain we're going to ask God for that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Burns. I must say, growing up and being around you and my other brothers, you're much older than the rest of us younger ones.
Not much.
Not much, just a few. But I remember the protective aspect that you would bring to the brothers. Being on the base, I remember driving a motorcycle for the first time. I think you had something to do with that as well, but I always say you talk some and you keep some.
Right.
But when it comes to the brothers and the unity we have had over the years, it is because of the training and the patience that you talk about that was brought to us by mom and dad to look out for one another and to be there for one another. And as you raise your family, as you look, to the years ahead, that means a lot as well when you talk about being there for one another.
Yeah, it really does, because you wonder sometimes why your parents were so hard on you, and you see the same things coming back and trying to raise your kids, and you try to do the same things that they did, and you hope that everything turns out well, but you always go back to what they taught you and what you try to teach your children, and hopefully everything turns out for the best.
Thank you ever so much, Vincent Burns Steele, for being on our show today.
Thank you, Mario. It's a pleasure.
This is truly a remarkable time for me to be back here in Palmetto Point, my island home, as we celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. And Mario just brought up a point, I'm going to bring that up in regards to when I would travel to Eleuthera. I forgot I was a little boy then and used to travel back and forth with my hamsters. That is so true. Yes. And I would make sure that they were a part of my journey here. You've seen me through a lot. And as you do with all of your sons, I do believe that caring spirit is something that you have passed on to all of us, and what makes us a better individual. How important is that for you, to us?
Mario, I can't express. Every time, even when I see you, it brings memories, because I think on my boys also. Yes. And one night time he said, "Ma, you have a towel? A big towel?" When I go inside there, Mario has them covered up in that room, and I said, "Well, you have to cover them up." He said, "Yeah, I have to cover them up every night." That's something I used to look forward to. Mario, you meant so much to us. You was one of our sons, and I'll never ever forget you in life, no matter what happens. No matter what happens in the family, you are there, and you're always encouraging. Gives us words of inspiration. Just remember, we'll always, always love you.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
That is so special. On that note, I also want to reflect. A lot of people, Pa, when they would hear, they would say, "Well, where Mario fit with the family?" Let me see. Is it after Shaun? After Keith? I can't remember. But what I always tell persons, you took me in as your own. And that means a great deal to me from the first time coming to Palmetto Point. And like I was telling my colleagues who were with me traveling, both Fabian and Daniel, I told them I'm going home now. And I'm happy to go home. As soon as I reached to the airport, I was surrounded by all of my friends. All of the drivers still remember me, and they were like, it's by the time you reach back home. And it's a wonderful feeling, and we've been enjoying being here all the time. Whenever we come, we have a wonderful, wonderful time. Another point I want to bring up, and that's the music in our family. We have Vincent Burnsdeal's daughter, Nikita. She's going to bring a little tribute to us. And we also have Hance also thinking about music. It seems to be they're getting this music talent in the family, and I think it spreads from Pa, because I do believe Joshua also is playing the trumpet now. How important is music in the family?
Well, before me, my father, I understood. I don't remember him because I was only 3 months old when he died, and I was told that he was one of the better trumpet players in Palmetto Point. And at that time, they had one of the best brass bands, and which, of course, with music, I never went to school. I never took music lessons or anything like that. But I just love music, so I picked up the trumpet and I began to play it. And at the age of 15, I became the bandmaster for Palmetto Point brass band. And that was one of the greatest experience I've ever had as a youngster, to see old men, and I'm seeing old men like in the 70s and the 80s. When I asked them, could we do so and so, they said, no, you are the bandmaster, you tell us. And I've never seen more discipline among a group of people like those elderly men. And they moved when I said move, and I was more fearful than anything else, because what am I doing trying to drill these old men? But that was one of the biggest experience in my life, to be the bandmaster of men who was much older than I were, and who I'm sure was old enough to be my great-granddaddy, some of them. But then there was the guitar. I played the guitar. Well, you know, we had a singing group called the Jubilee Singers. And in the group, I played the bass guitar. And Collins, which he is no longer with us, he passed away. He used to play the lead guitar. So he played the lead guitar, I played the bass guitar. And after he passed away, well, there was no one to play the tenor guitar, so I picked up the tenor guitar and started to play, well, which of course I still play in church, of course. I might not be the best, but I do whatever I can. I also used to play the clarinet. I also played the saxophone, and they were musical instruments that I had. But one thing what I understood, my sons, they didn't quite appreciate the music the way I did. Because if I leave my guitar or trumpet or any piece of musical instrument sitting on the couch, and they would just move it aside and never pick it up to play it. But what I found was the grandchildren is into the music. So I think they just allowed the music to pass my children by, but the grandchildren, it really into the music seriously. So that is the way music happened to be in our family.
Yes, sir. And I say that because I always could remember music being a part of the family. Another wonderful point, Pa and Ma, as we sit here and have such a wonderful time as we celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary, I think of all of the family times, the coming together that we have had. How important was that for you to make it to 50 years and to see many more years to come? The coming together of family.
Well, first of all, we have to give God thanks for that. Because for one, you know, without Him, nothing is possible. But when I look back on the past and see what happened and how it happened, it was only God that brought us through because, for one, at one point, I was at a point where I thought, well, maybe this might be the remains of me or whatever, but God raised me back up because apparently He didn't. He said to me, in such a way, your work is not finished. So it's time to get up and let's do it all over again. And when I look at that and see, He just wasn't ready to take me away from the family. And I so enjoy the family because when my family come around me, that makes me happier than anything else other than going to church.
Yes.
So I just love to have my family, just like tonight with you.
Yes.
It was so good to see you.
Yes, sir.
And it's always a joy
Yes.
when I can see you, see the rest of the family. That brings happiness.
Yes, sir.
Yes, at all times.
Yes, sir. Another point come to mind, Ma. I remember when I came home for a break to have good times, and both of you had to go to Nassau unexpectedly. And I remember Shaun was given the detail to make sure I'd stay because I was there by myself. And a thought came to mind just now as Pa was talking. Nobody gets left alone or behind when it comes to the Deal family. If someone is behind, someone will be sent after them. If someone is alone, someone will be sent to be with them. I think that's important, especially in our society today. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
And how important is that for our family to be there for one another?
Very important. Because without, like you said, without the family, is nothing happening. And it's, it's like a bind. When everybody, when I see my children come around, I make sure you all coming down here. Joseph, those children, those boys now have their wives. But that's how close, we are. Yes, that's how close we are. Mario, I was thinking just a minute, I wanted to laugh, but I didn't want to laugh.
Yes, ma'am.
I remember that day we went out to the beach and there when you jumped on that truck, I said, Joe, just look on the back of that truck, Mario, on the back of the truck, going out by the beach. I said, he's enjoying that.
Yes.
And to look, they'll say like people from Nassau or whatever don't want to be, on a truck or letting people see that. But you fit it right in with everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Where we were, you was there.
Yes, ma'am.
You was never ever left out.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
And I think that's what I love so much about the Deal family. If anyone was to ever wonder, being a part, being included, being loved.
Yes.
And that's so important, to love and to be loved. It's very important, and that's what we celebrate today. On a familiar walk, 50th wedding anniversary to Joseph Deal and Mrs. Deal. This is an awesome honor for us today.
Yes.
What parting words, what words of comfort? We'll start with you, Pa, and then we will end with Ma, as we say farewell to our viewers and to our listeners. We thank our sponsors and my brothers and their wives and the grandchildren coming together for this special occasion here in Palmetto Point. What would we like to leave with them on our program today?
Well, I would just like to say to all of the children, the grandchildren, the viewers, always love one another, love each other, show love to one another. If the need arises, help each other. That is what life should be all about. We are here, and God has placed us here to help each other, to love one another. And if we don't do that, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. But from what I've seen during these 50 years, I've seen a lot of love being spread abroad, a lot of love in my family, a lot of love in other people's families. And that is something that I just love to see. I love to see love spread around in the right way, of course. So let me just say again, continue to love one another, help each other, because life is too short. We are not here to stay. We're just passing through, and we would just thank God for the rest.
Yes.
Thank you, Pa. And Ma, who would you leave with us today?
So much, I could say, but I truly hope that even when we're left, leave the scene, I hope that my children would walk in our footsteps and continue that love. And always, you think about Mommy and Daddy were here, they're gone, so we have to carry on because they were so loving to us and so kind.
Thank you. Thank you both for being on our show today and for allowing us to spend this wonderful moment in time, this milestone, this landmark achievement in our family. Thank you for being our special guest on A Familiar Walk, our Bahamian Heroes segment in beautiful Palmetto Point, Eleuthera. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I took a familiar walk today, a walk that gave me the honor to pen a few lines of gratitude to Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Alfreda Deal Sr. I begin with a memory in Eleuthera, where anyone who enters the Deals family home was welcomed and loved. You were always greeted with kindness, and we were taught that kindness is more important than wisdom, and the recognition of this is the beginning of wisdom. I took a familiar walk today, and I am reminded of the thought from Uncle Joe and Aunt Freda, which was instilled within me from a child. If you want something positive very badly, you can achieve it. It may take patience, very hard work, a real struggle, and a long time, but it can be done. That much faith is a prerequisite of any undertaking. Because of this, I have achieved much success in my life. I took a familiar walk today, which takes me to beautiful, peaceful community of Palmetto Point, and in particular, on the top of the hill, the Salvation Army, where Uncle Joe and Aunt Freda took me whenever I was home to give God thanks for all his blessings. These special moments encourage me to help whomever I come into contact with, and the question I always ask myself because of these moments, if we don't help each other, who will? This was infused within me whenever I was in the company of Ma and Pa. I took a familiar walk today, and I recall brotherly moments with my brothers, Hance, Joseph Jr., Vincent Burns, Shaun, and Keith Deal, the Deal clan. Because of our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Deal Sr., we always remember to be there for one another. With this knowledge, we carry in our hearts a brotherly love for mankind, that a new life begins for us with every second. We went forward joyously to meet it. We pressed on, whether we wanted to or not, and we walked better with our eyes before us than with them ever cast behind. Uncle Joe and Aunt Freda made sure we never forgot this. I took a familiar walk today, and I give God thanks for praises for allowing so many to experience the love of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Eleuthera Deal Sr. Thank you for showing me in action the importance of family. Because of this example, I treasure the Deal family, and I realize that the future of the Bahamas passes by way of the family, and in particular, the Deal family. I took a familiar walk today and give further thanks to Uncle Joe and Aunt Freda for the beacon of light in our lives. You are a pillar of strength, love, and support during times of transition and preparation for the major life changes that occurs in our lives. I conclude my familiar walk today with some wishes for Uncle Joe and Aunt Freda. May your days be filled with laughter. May you always be reminded that beautiful tomorrows are wished for you today and every day. And I wish for you as much love that your hearts and hands can hold. On a familiar walk, we delight to have my brother Keith Deal with us on our show this evening. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
This is a special time for our family. I am honored to be back home in Palmetto Point, Eleuthera. I can recall those days running around Point as a little lad. And now we're sitting here as young men, not as old as a few of our other brothers, but we're the youngest of the bunch. And at this time, Keith, we are so thrilled to be celebrating with Mom and Dad for their 50th wedding anniversary. How do you say congratulations to them, Keith?
Wow. Well, I would like to say from my wife and myself, Mom and Dad, happy 50th anniversary. May you live to see many, many more.
That is so sweet. I remember writing a poem almost 10 years. August makes 10 years for your wedding. When I gave a toast, I was giving a little chuckle to my colleagues who were with me, Fabian and Daniel, while we were having lunch together. I said, well, you know, you're not as young as you once was when you're asked to give a toast to the bride or groom parents. However, thrilled as I was, that poem that I wrote, A Familiar Walk, especially for your wedding, that was a remarkable time, and to see that 10 years is now approaching for that moment, I could only imagine how our family will continue to strive as one as we thank God for this special time in our family's lives. Do you agree?
Oh, yes, I do. It's been a journey for the last 10 years, but it's been a great one. And, you know, I look forward to the rest of it.
Thanks, Keith. Another very important point I wanted to include, we're going to be showing Serenity's photo. That's our brother who has passed away 3 years, Joseph Jr. And we have to honor him, like I told you earlier. I said he may not physically be with us, but we know he is with us because he lives within you and me and all of our family members. So when we reflect on him with his jovial spirit, what do you think he would say about this wonderful moment in time?
Oh, he would have enjoyed this immensely. You know, he was fun to be around. He was a jewel in the family. Everyone loved to be around him, and he enjoyed family time, and we all enjoyed being around him. Even though he's not here, you know, he left his beautiful daughter to remind us of the good times that we had. But the memory will always live on inside all of us.
I agree. Keith, how would you tell everyone thank you?
Well, first off, I would just like once more to congratulate my mom and dad on their 50th anniversary. And I would like to thank all the viewers of A Familiar Walk, and to everyone that sponsored, who supported, who chipped in to help out to make all of this possible. To all of you, from my family to yours, thank you.
Thank you, friends, for joining us for the program A Familiar Walk in beautiful Palmetto Point, Eleuthera. It was our pleasure being here on Eleuthera as we celebrated the 50th golden wedding anniversary of Alfreda and Joseph Deal Sr. Thank you ever so much for being part of our program today.